Sorry about your damn luck, TNA. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Guido Goes Off. Thank you for watching my previous two, and I hope you enjoy this one. Before I get any further into this part, I want to do a little note, because I know quite a few of the people that watch this, or at least I hope watch this, also watch Mike and the Guido. Just a little note, yeah, we haven't done anything in about a month, but it's been a comedy of errors as far as getting it out there. We've had everything from equipment issues to trying to get jet schedules to jive. It's and everything else, but hopefully we're going to be filming in a couple days, and we'll get something up on our regular channel. If you subscribe to this channel but don't subscribe to the Mike and the Guido channel, please subscribe to the Mike and the Guido channel as well. And if you usually watch Mike and the Guido and you're watching this for the first time, thank you. And hop on in, stay a while. But hopefully Mike and I will have something coming up. We did record something, but there were some issues getting it up, and that's the thing, because you don't use anything. But we will have something up very soon, because of course we got PC internet overlords. Speaking of the internet, the reason I'm doing this one, because it's interesting, because I'm going to go off about something I like. I could go on about saying, oh, this part sucks, everything's horrible and wrong with the world. But every so often something goes right. And we're in one of those cases right now. For those of you that don't know, this past Thursday, the 8th of October, at the NXT tapings, the Cowboy James Storm, former TNA World Champion, former TNA Tag Team Champion, debuted on NXT. We're still trying to get definition as to what his role will be. I've heard a lot of things about it, like the player-coach dynamic, where he's going to be, kind of like what Rhino's doing, and bit what Samoa Joe's doing. I don't know if he's going to have the same deal where he has a full time with WWE, or where it's NXT will use him, but he could still get booked for independent dates. A lot of these things are still going to come to light as we go on. But all I can say is kudos to Triple H and the NXT staff, or whoever did the negotiating for it, to signing him. He's a blue chip wrestler. Personally, I've always enjoyed James Storm. Ever since I started watching TNA, I kind of caught the bug a little bit in 2002, but this is later on. As I got the Spike deal, that you watch more, and you like seeing him. I like seeing him. He's been great in putting 100% into everything that TNA has asked of him to do. But I think the reason he left is because clearly it wasn't mutual. For those of you unclear, James Storm has been part of. He was an original of TNA. He, when it started out, he was one half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions, because TNA then was still under the NWA umbrella. He was one half of the tag team America's Most Wanted with Chris Harris, and they had a quite a long reign. I think they had at least 2-3 reigns as NWA World Tag Team Champions. Um, then when TNA split from the NWA, then there's that, then he lost his footing. He ended up turning heel against Chris Harris, and basically went nowhere. What was the sad part? It wasn't until he joined up at the time with another heel that was part of something, that was part of Team Canada, that was also spinning his wheels. Robert Roode, or he's shortened it to Bobby since. Both of these guys had these gimmicks that were spinning their wheels. Robert Roode at the time was kind of like a Michael Wall Street character, who I'm trying to figure, trying to explain the Michael Wall Street. Okay, basically a guy who, the wealthy guy that he had his personal assistant. He has a personal assistant who was Brooke Tessmacher, now just Brooke. He wore a row. He basically just a ripoff of Michael Wall Street, who was kind of a rip. Shoot, I know. I'm pretty sure. Never mind. And these two guys were spinning the wheel, so they put them together as the tag team because James Storm liked his drinking, Robert Roode liked his money, he liked beer and his money, so they put them together as Beer Money. Beer Money became one of the most successful tag teams in TNA's history. They had the best of 5 series with the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Easy for me to say. And we're pretty much the top of the tag team division. Well, then shoot. Then they decided to split them up. They turned Bobby Roode heel. And James Storm became face, and then I know there was an instance where they feuded for like a month or two over the TNA World Heavyweight title, which James Storm finally won, and held it for a grand total of about a month. And then he lost it to Bobby Roode, and then Bobby Roode became the longest reigning TNA World Champion, and since then, Bobby Roode's gone on to be this major success in TNA. Has had multiple world title reigns. Has been the it factor. Has been a cornerstone of the company, even the company's top heel for a number of years, where James Storm languished in mid-card hell. He then, that's when a lot of people like myself and that started losing interest in TNA. And I tried to get back, and when I got back to it, a few months ago, mostly when we started doing my Guido, I started trying to watch it again, making the effort to watch TNA, and that's when he had been going into this, making the revolution. And don't get me wrong, once again, he invested everything in his power, everything he could to make this a great angle, a great story, a great stable. The problem was, it looked like a more inbred Wyatt family than the Wyatt family. It just seemed, and it didn't get him any closer to another world title reign. it was just busy work. It was busy work for a lot of guys. And that's the thing, you know, I guess he felt that he was spinning his wheels, and so that's why he decided, you know, after he renegotiated a new deal, and then he hasn't now he hasn't actually been wrestling for TNA for quite some time. His contract ended the night of Slammiversary. Slammiversary was his last contractually obligated appearance. All the TNA episodes that you have seen up to Bound for Glory were taped prior to Slammiversary. And so, you know, I'm sure there's a contract thing, you know, since he's still appearing on TV, he can't, you know, kind of like what Lucha Underground did with Hernandez. And then TNA cared about that. But that's the thing. This guy's a great talent. It's very interesting. He's because he's only about I think he's 6'2" and 227. So, you know, smaller guy. I mean, you're talking like Shawn Michaels, but he seems to carry it a lot like larger than Shawn Michaels does, and has more of a brawling style. Oddly enough, he also has the same finisher as Shawn Michaels, and instead of calling his Sweet Chin Music, he calls it the Last Call. You know, that's his ranking habits. But the thing is, he's a great talent, and clearly a great one of the best free agents that was out there. I don't blame NXT for snatching him up. That's the thing. He can only go up from there. TNA had the nasty habit that WCW had of not building their stars. I mean, like, they would build up their stars, but if, you know, someone who'd been a big fish came available, like Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Mr. Anderson and Jeff and the Hardys and all these guys, as they came available, TNA's the guys that helped build the company, guys like, you know, James Storm, like Bobby Roode, like AJ Styles, got pushed to the side. It was like, you know, thanks for getting us to the point where we could get these guys, but we got these guys now, so we don't need you anymore. And so that's why you've had, over the past 2 years, a lot of people who had been loyal to TNA, you know, even the most staunchly loyal people, jumping ship. You've had AJ went to Japan. Now is leading the Bullet Club. You have, you know, Samoa Joe's in NXT. Bully Ray now has redonned the camo and the glasses again and became Bubba Ray again. And now you have James Storm and James Storm coming to NXT. It's a simple fact of, from where I'm seeing it, it's clearly he felt unappreciated in TNA. That his contributions meant nothing. And essentially, it did. You only hit, you know, this is a guy who was there from day fucking one in TNA and got nothing to show for it. Half the time, and as we all know, they're pay woes. Probably half the time didn't get paid. So it's not like he's swallowing his pride to join NXT. Or to join NXT. It is a step up. I mean, he may not... Lord only knows what the future will hold for this. Because, you know, he has drawing potential. And I believe I heard him say on the Stone Cold podcast, yeah, he got a lot of miles on on the tires, but there's still a lot of miles left. He's, you know, not, I think, mid-30s, so he's got some time. if he wants to make a run in New York. He has more than enough time to do that. I hope that happens because he, like I said, he's a great he's a great talker, and smallish for a brawler, but makes up for it with fight. I mean, we're not talking like Rockstar Sputter Eric Young. We're talking, like kind of Shawn Michaels, but not nearly taking as many risks. So that's why I feel he's got a lot more career longevity, because he hasn't had to take the risks that a lot of guys his size have had to. I'm cautiously optimistic. I want this to do well. I want this to work well. I want him on the main roster, but we all know what the main roster does with guys from other companies. And nowadays, that even includes NXT. It's set, which, boggles my mind, because aren't these the people you were investing millions of dollars to make into the superstars and divas of tomorrow? But right now, I think it's great. Because, if it's the coach-player dynamic, that's great for him. Because you get to be active, you get to have great matches, but you also get to, help develop the next generation of professional wrestler. Or as WWE says, sports entertainer. Sports entertainer. If you want to get technical, Peyton Manning is a sports entertainer. But like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm pleased. I'm happy to see James Storm in NXT. At least who will be used. And, like a valuable asset used, not like toilet paper used. Good things can come of this. And it's a smart decision. It's another smart decision by the guys who do NXT, headed up by Triple H. It's the more I see these decisions, the more I think a Triple H pop vinyl is going to make its way up there on the shelf. But, y'all can send them fruit baskets. I'm cautiously optimistic. Once again, I hope this goes well, but I'm not holding my breath waiting. But again, kudos for hiring James Storm. This is a man who's deserved who deserves a hell of a lot better than he has gotten in professional wrestling. So, until next time I see you, I'm the Guido, and NXT Universe, you have been warned.